Hey guys, this is P.M.R.Bonez88, and it is Friday the 13th, and today, you know what that means, it's another Friday the 13th horror film to review. So today I will be reviewing, it's none other than, there we are, Jason X. This was the 10th Friday the 13th film, and Kane Hodder returned to play as the hockey mask killer known as Jason, and it was his last. I was disappointed that Kane Hodder did not return in Freddy vs. Jason. I know I keep babbling about it, but everyone wanted to see Kane Hodder to return to play as Jason once again. But I'm hearing rumors, and it could be true that he might return to play as Jason, so who knows? Maybe he will return. Jason X was a horror / sci-fi film, and it was directed by James Issac. He's great in directing like horror films, but this was a very most disappointed film ever. And tell you all the truth, this was my first Friday the 13th, first time I ever seen and heard about Jason. Yes, I know. I mean, when I was young, I didn't know who Jason was, and guess what I saw was Jason X on cable. I got to know him a little more, and he at least started to be my favorite, and that's why I started to watch all the Friday the 13th films. And it was produced by Sean Cunningham, which he's also the director that directed the original Friday the 13th back in 1980. I've seen a lot of killers going into space, but Jason in space? Whose idea was to put Jason into space in the first place? Oh yeah, it was written by Todd Farmer, who also played as the character Dallas. We've seen all these killers going into space. Well, not all of them, just some of them. But let me list the names of the killers that were in space. Leprechaun, he was in space. Pinhead, in space. I had to give him credit because it did had a good storyline in Hellraiser Bloodline. I'll review that some other time. Who else? Oh, Dracula. He was in space too. The movie Dracula 3000, I don't even want to talk about it. I saw the movie, it was crappy. Story plot was shitty. And the actors and actresses, they weren't taking it really serious. And Dracula, oh god. If you guys want to see it, go right ahead, but I'm telling you this right now, Dracula 3000 was crap. So the movie almost hit up to 17 million at the worldwide, but it failed at the box office. Now, I'll be telling you the story plot, but it's going to be very, very short, because it's the same thing. Jason kills, the survivors gets away from him, Jason dies, and that's it. That's the story plot. Now I'll tell you guys a little bit. There's more details about this movie. So the movie starts out with Jason being secured at the Crystal Lake facility. Wait a minute. It's a facility now? I thought Crystal Lake was a camp, not a freaking facility. When did that happen? There's something in the timeline they didn't really explain it. Unless they put it into the comics issues and they explain how they made Camp Crystal Lake into a facility. If they did. If not, then this movie is starting to make no sense. What the fuck? Honestly. And so we see Jason just standing there, and there's the security guard that's just looking at him, and Jason is just staring right at him. The military wants to take Jason as a weapon. They go inside and try to take Jason, but what happens? Jason kills that security guard, and he kills all the militaries one by one, and then he goes after the girl. So Rowan lures Jason into the cryogenetic pod, pushes him there, freezes him, but Jason had the upper handed by stabbing her, and they both freeze throughout the whole entire century, up to fast forwarding the future, which was the year 2455. So a group of scientists take both Jason and Rowan to their laboratories, revive Rowan, and Jason somehow wakes up from two couples having sex. Like, what? Honestly, Jason wakes up for two couples that were having sex. Now that really doesn't make sense. I don't know what the writer Todd Farmer was doing. I don't know if he was making all this stuff up, but they didn't even know what the direction they were taking it. His movie was all jumble with all the sci-fi, horror, space, Jason, killing, deaths, murder. Here's my voice impression where he wakes up from two couples that were having sex. What the fuck is this? Do I hear two couples having sex? It's time to kill. Ooh, but that girl smells so good and she's hot. I'm sorry. Now that was going way too far now. I need to stop. But you know the rest of the story is all Jason killing. They survive. Jason dies. Or is he? Is there any good positive about this movie? Yeah, Jason kills were very creative. I love how he killed all the military soldiers. The most funniest scene ever where Jason killed both Dallas and this kid. I forgot his name, but he lost an arm when he was frozen, and then he got his arm back again. And how Jason did, he did a Batman Bane on him. Now he didn't break his bat. I was gonna say he did break his bat, but he actually broke his rib cage or something, and just throws him down like he was a fucking raggedy doll. And then he goes after Dallas, crushes him, like bash him right into the wall. In the virtual reality game they were in, that Jason just slashed the kid, and he was still talking when he was saying it. It was like, wait, what the? Wait a second. Isn't he supposed to be dead? He's not supposed to talk. And then where Jason just chops off Dallas's head off, that was even more hilarious. Like, whoa, what's going on? And then it was only just a virtual reality game, so they weren't really dead until Jason realized that they were still alive and just killed them. The visual effects weren't too bad. The only thing that was great was the virtual reality game and the reality where Jason was Camp Crystal Lake back in 1980. Of how they did it with the visual effects and the environment. That was really good. One of my favorite scenes is where KM fights off with Jason, kicking ass hand-to-hand combat, shoots him off, and then blew his head off away. Bringing back Jason and turning into Uber Jason, I think he was okay, but he looked too plain and he wasn't that scary. The Uber Jason was only there up to about, 4 or 5 minutes of this film, and that was it. I think what was cool was just that he had half of his chest, his leg, and his head being all armored up and sort of robotic. So he was part man, part machine, or whatever he was before. It was kind of good and kind of ridiculous. Do I want to watch it? I'll watch it sometime, just not all the time. Because now I know what Jason X is about, and I can see why everyone hated it. I just watch it only when I'm in a crappy or not in a good mood to watch in a good movie. Just rather watch a bad movie. So just to rate this film, for Jason X, I would have to give it a 4.9 out of 10 equals 49%, so it's an F. The visual effects were kind of good. The kills were very creative, and Kane Hodder returning for one last time. But overall, the movie is just not too good. Putting Jason into space was a bad idea. They couldn't just kept him into Camp Crystal Lake. That would have been good, and he would have just done all the kills there. Maybe I would give Jason X probably just a chance. Maybe just to watch it for, just for a good time, for old time's sakes. Because after all, it was my favorite. Not anymore, it's just my least favorite. So it'll go into the watching movies that I'm entirely in a bad mood for. And yeah, I do own this movie on Blu-ray and DVD. And this is P.M.R.Bonez88's signing off. His saying is, Happy Friday the 13th, and peace!
went into my own collection. What a waste of a good money movie for this shit. Not my kind of Friday the 13th film. Well, summer is coming. It's not my kind of season. I'll see you all back in August.